Hi there, paper crafters. I hope you are doing great. I'm back to give you some more inspiration on how you can use the dies from Paper Discovery's latest release. In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you two cards that I've made using the bamboo dies, plus some others as well. Both cards are simple to make. Let's start with the watercolor one, which is 5 by 7 inches. To create this one, I've pre-made a side-folding 5 by 7 card base out of watercolor paper, and I've also die-cut the 5 by 7 panel using the card builder set, but you can actually simply trim down a piece of vellum to that size. Now I'm taping down my card base right onto the craft mat, and then I'm going to create the background using the black Soot distress ink. I'm simply squeezing it down onto the palette, which is a regular dish. Then I'm adding a little bit of water, and I'm going to apply it all over the surface of my card. I am leaving just a small border all around the perimeter, quite narrow one, and it's a very organic shape, as you can see. Then we have to let this layer dry, and I'm using the heat tool to speed up the process. Then I'm going to apply the second layer of ink. I'm using the same color ink. This is diluted black Soot, and this time I'm creating the waterline. It shouldn't be too dark. I just want to give a suggestion of that horizon line. It's okay if your background is far from perfect, because most of it will be covered with vellum anyway, and we are going to mute it down. Now I'm just tearing off the top and bottom edge of the vellum panel just to create that organic feel, as if it is a handmade paper. You can tear off all 4 edges if you want to, but I'm gonna create some other type of texture on the remaining 2 edges, so I'll leave it like that. To create my scene, I'll be using the bamboo shoot die from Bamboo Frame die set, as well as that layered water splash dies from the set that is called Water, Foliage and Ducks. And the fun thing about this water splash is you can use both the positive and the negative images to create that circle on the water. The brush stroke sentiment is from another set that is called Bamboo Trellis Corner. You can find the links to all the supplies down below in the description box, as well as on my blog. Now I'm placing the white die cut back into the die, and I'm applying some ink right through the die because this one works as a stencil. I'm also going all over the edges with the same ink. This is Hickory Smoke, by the way. You can use either the stenciled die cut or the plain one. That one looks great as well. But in the end, I have decided to go with a dark gray one, and I'm going to place it on top of the white one, leaving just a thin border. Now I'm going to apply some Ranger Multimedia Matte, just a tiny amount of it at the wrong side of this die cut, and I'm going to stick it down onto the vellum piece. Then I'm going to attach the water splash as well. I'm starting with a bigger circle. Again, I'm using Ranger Multimedia Matte. This one is quite thick, and it doesn't cause the vellum to warp just as much. I've die cut the smaller water circle out of white to create more contrast and draw more attention to my focal image, and I'm sticking it down just like that, overlapping the previous die cut. I'm also going to attach the 2 tiny water droplets. Those little dice are also the part of the set. And then I'm going to attach my sentiment. I'm actually going to place it behind the vellum and stick it down like that. That is going to create a very soft shadowy look. And now I'm gonna give even more texture to that little piece of vellum. I'm simply tearing it down in a few places and then I'm curling up the edges. Again, you can do that technique on all 4 edges of the vellum panel, but I have decided to use my stapeless stapler to add the texture to the other remaining edges, and I also planned to attach the vellum to the card this way. It normally works fine, but this time it didn't work because I think of the quality of the vellum. It was too thick and it's not very pliable, so it just didn't get attached to the watercolor paper. It's not a big problem though. In these situations, liquid adhesive always helps, so I'm applying it behind the die cuts as well as behind those little lines created by the stapler, and I'm sticking down the panel. Also, to accentuate the water drops, I'm gonna add some clear droplets onto each of the water drop shapes. And also at this point I have also noticed that the sentiment doesn't stand out as much as I wanted it to. So I'm attaching one more die cut just above the vellum, and you can see that that previous one now creates the shadow. So this is what the finished card looks like, and you can see that it still has those stapler marks at the edges. Now let's go ahead and create one more card, and this one's going to be a shaped card. I'll be using that outline die from Bamboo Trellis Corner die set to create my card base. I'm going to use this outline die from Bamboo Trellis Corner die set to create the shape of the card. I'm placing the outline die over the folded piece of cardstock so that the left edge hangs off the fold a little bit. This way the die is going to cut through both layers of cardstock, but they are going to stay attached at the fold. So this is what the card base looks like. Then I'm going to create a panel using both the outline and the insert dies. The insert die creates a pretty negative bamboo pattern, and the outline one just cuts around it. Because I used the same die for the card shape and for the panel, they are going to match perfectly. So now I'm just applying a little bit of liquid adhesive and I'm sticking down the white panel on top of the cream card base. So now we have this pretty textured bamboo background, and now I'm ready to add the focal images. I am going to use all 3 bamboo shoot dies from Bamboo Frame die set, the same one I used for the previous card. I'm planning to layer a few die cuts, so I've die cut each image several times out of cream cardstock, and the top layer is going to be a navy blue paper. Layering die cuts is a great way to add more dimension, and it also creates some extra sturdiness. I will really need this sturdiness in this particular project because I'm going to attach all bamboo shoots so that they are hanging off the edge quite considerably, and if they are just one layer they can be easily crimpled. Now I'm sticking down all 3 die cuts just slightly above the bottom edge of the card, and I had to trim down the last one just a little bit. Then I'm going to use Joyful Sentiment. It's from the same die set that I create the card shape with. I layered this die cut just like I did with the bamboo, and I used the gold for the top layer. Now I am attaching this sentiment onto the vellum little panel. This one I created with vertical tags die set. Then I'm going to apply my liquid glue at the wrong side of this panel, only behind the letters. And then I'm going to stick it down onto the card. This way the traces of glue will not be visible. So that finishes the second project for today. I hope I have given you some ideas on how you can use the bamboo dies as focal images on your cards. I would also like to let you know that both die sets, the bamboo frame and bamboo trellis corner, are available at Craft Stash online store individually, but you can also get them as a bundle, and in this case you'll get an additional discount. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Have a beautiful day, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye bye!